The shuttle touched down gently on the surface of Zephyria, a planet draped in swirling mists and vibrant, sprawling forests. Jason Matthews, human diplomat and emissary of Earth, peered out the small window, his gaze settling on the alien landscape that would be his home for the foreseeable future. As he disembarked, his guide, a Zephyrian named Mira, approached with a graceful gait, her skin shimmering subtly under Zephyria's twin suns. "Welcome to Zephyria, Jason Matthews," she said, her voice melodic yet commanding. "Thank you, Mira," Jason replied, extending his hand in a typical Earth gesture. Mira studied it curiously before mimicking the action, her touch surprisingly warm. "I trust your journey was comfortable," she inquired as they walked towards the complex that housed the interspecies cultural exchange program. "As comfortable as one can be traveling across the galaxy," Jason chuckled. "I'm eager to learn about your people and your planet. And we are curious about you, human," Mira responded with a hint of amusement in her voice. They arrived at a large building that blended organically with its surroundings, its architecture a seamless extension of nature. "This will be your residence," Mira explained as they entered. "You will share living quarters with another human participant, Leo, who arrived a week earlier. He's just returned from a tour of the Central Groves." Jason nodded, following Mira down a corridor that hummed softly, the walls pulsating with a gentle bioluminescent light. They stopped before a door, and Mira gestured for him to enter. Inside, a man who looked to be in his late 20s was arranging what appeared to be photographic equipment. He looked up and smiled broadly at Jason. "You must be Jason. I'm Leo. Just got in from shooting some incredible flora out in the groves. This planet is a photographer's dream." Jason set his bag down, surveying the modest yet comfortable space. "I can't wait to see it myself. I've read so much about Zephyria's ecosystems." Leo grinned, his enthusiasm infectious. "You'll get a kick out of the bioluminescent plants. Makes night hikes quite spectacular. Maybe we can go together next time." "That sounds great," Jason replied, warming to his roommate's friendly demeanor. "I'm here to bridge our cultural gaps, but I admit, the biodiversity is equally fascinating," Mira interjected. "There is much for you both to learn and many to meet. Tomorrow, you will join me at the council where you will be formally introduced to various Zephyrian leaders." "Sounds like a full schedule," Jason observed. He turned to Leo. "How have you found the cultural exchange so far?" "It's been eye-opening," Leo admitted. "Zephyrians are reserved but deeply passionate about their traditions and planet. We have much to learn from each other." As the evening progressed, the three of them shared a meal, the table laden with a variety of Zephyrian cuisine that was as colorful as it was exotic. Jason listened intently as Mira described the social structures and the importance of their seasonal festivals, while Leo shared anecdotes from his early interactions with the locals. "It's going to be an interesting time," Jason mused, his mind alight with the possibilities. "Living here, learning from you, understanding the fabric of Zephyrian society, and perhaps teaching us a bit about humanity," Mira added, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Yes, of course," Jason agreed, feeling the weight of his role as a cultural ambassador. As the conversation flowed, the initial awkwardness gave way to a sense of camaraderie and a shared anticipation of the days to come. That night, as Jason lay in his new bed listening to the strange, melodious sounds of the Zephyrian night, he thought about the journey ahead. There was much to do, much to learn, and now, with Leo and Mira by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges awaited. Jason awoke to the gentle hum of the Zephyrian sunrise, its dual suns casting a warm, golden glow through his window. As he stretched, he heard the sound of voices from the common area of their residence. Walking into the kitchen, he found Leo and another man he hadn't yet met, deeply engrossed in conversation over steaming cups of a fragrant, dark liquid. Leo noticed Jason and waved him over. "Jason, come meet Tomas. He's another participant in the exchange program, from the engineering division," Leo introduced. Tomas extended his hand, his grip firm and welcoming. "Heard you just got in yesterday. How's your first Zephyrian morning treating you?" "Pretty well, thanks," Jason replied, accepting a cup of the dark drink. He took a cautious sip and was surprised by its richness. "What is this?" "It's a traditional Zephyrian brew, made from the roots of the jara tree. Supposed to have a ton of health benefits, Tomas explained, his eyes crinkling with a smile. As they settled around the small table, the conversation shifted towards their agenda. Mira mentioned a council meeting today? Jason queried, trying to recall the previous night's discussion. Yeah, that's right, Leo confirmed. We're all going. It's a chance to meet the key leaders and elders. They value formality and ceremony, so it should be interesting. Tomas nodded. It's also a good opportunity for us to lay out our project plans and get their insights. The Zephyrians are keen on sustainability, and they want to ensure our projects align with their ecological standards. The trio spent the morning discussing their respective fields and how they hoped to integrate their expertise with Zephyrian knowledge. Jason was focused on cultural integration, Leo on documenting Zephyrian biodiversity, and Tomas on introducing sustainable energy solutions. As they made their way to the council meeting, the streets of the Zephyrian capital were bustling with activity. The architecture was a blend of natural elements and advanced technology, creating a harmony between environment and innovation that fascinated Jason. At the council hall, a grand structure at the city's center, they were greeted by Mira and a group of Zephyrian officials. The officials were tall, with a dignified bearing and wore intricate garments that shimmered in the sunlight. Welcome, one of the officials began, his voice echoing slightly in the vast hall. We are pleased to host such a diverse group of human experts. Today, we hope to learn from each other and establish a groundwork for collaboration and mutual respect. Jason stepped forward when it was his turn to speak. Thank you for having us, he began, feeling the weight of his role. I'm here to learn from you, to understand Zephyrian culture and hopefully bridge the gap between our peoples. The discussions were deep and thoughtful, with each side expressing a strong desire for successful integration and cooperation. The Zephyrians were particularly interested in Tomas's proposals for energy, which dovetailed with their philosophy of living in balance with nature. After the meeting, as they walked back to their residence, Tomas looked thoughtful. They're much more advanced in their ecological practices than I expected. We could learn a lot from their approach. Absolutely, Leo agreed. The biodiversity here is unlike anything on Earth. The potential for new discoveries is enormous. And their social structures, their ways of governance. It's also interconnected, Jason added. I think this is going to be more enlightening than any of us anticipated. That evening, as they shared another meal, this time featuring an array of exotic fruits and spices, the three men discussed their day at the council. Each was animated by the prospects of their projects and the potential impacts of their work. It's not just about what we can teach, but what we can learn, Jason reflected, feeling a profound sense of purpose. This exchange could be the beginning of something truly significant. As the night deepened, the three sat, looking up at the star-filled sky, contemplating the vastness of their undertaking. Here on Zephyria, surrounded by its mysteries and wonders, they felt a renewed commitment to their mission, driven by a shared vision of unity and understanding. The next few weeks on Zephyria were a blur of activity. Jason, Leo, and Tomas had become a tight-knit trio, exploring the cultural and ecological landscape of their host planet together. However, as the Zephyrian mating season approached, a palpable change came over their interactions, particularly with Mira. One evening, while the four of them were sampling a variety of Zephyrian cuisine at a local eatery, Mira seemed unusually distracted. Her usual attentive demeanor was replaced with a tense, almost nervous energy. Mira, is everything okay? Jason asked, concerned. You seem a bit off tonight. Mira hesitated, her eyes flickering to the other diners before returning to her plate. It's just the onset of the mating season. It's a bit overwhelming for me to maintain my usual duties. Tomas, ever the empathetic listener, leaned in. Is there anything we can do to help? Any way we can make things easier? Mira smiled weakly. I appreciate your concern, but it's a natural process. I'll adjust in time. It's just more intense when I'm around off-worlders. Jason exchanged a glance with Leo, who raised an eyebrow. Intense in what way? Leo asked, curiosity piqued. It's difficult to explain to non-Zephyrians, Mira started slowly. Our mating season heightens our senses and desires. Being around individuals who are so different amplifies that. It's strange, but not unpleasant, just challenging. Sounds tough. Leo sympathized. Back on Earth, some animals have similar behaviors, but for humans, it's mostly a non-issue. Must be hard to balance that with your professional responsibilities. Mira nodded, grateful for the understanding. Yes, exactly. I need to manage these instincts while ensuring our collaborations remain productive. The conversation gently shifted as Tomas steered the topic towards their projects. Speaking of collaboration, I've been making progress on the solar panel integration. The council seems really receptive to the tech adjustments we proposed. That's great to hear, Tomas, Jason replied, eager to shift the focus away from Myra's discomfort. And Leo, those photos you took of the nocturnal forests are going to be invaluable for the Earth-Zephyria Ecological Exchange documentation. Leo beamed. Thanks, man. It's fascinating how different our nightscapes are. There's a photo of the glowing trails I want to show you guys back at the flat. The way the natural bioluminescence interacts with the plant life here. It's nothing short of magical. As dinner concluded, the group walked back to their residence under Zephyria's luminescent moons. The air was crisp, filled with the alien scents of blooming flora. Once home, Leo pulled up the images on a large screen, the vibrant colors and surreal landscapes sparking admiration and discussion. Jason noticed Mira seemed more relaxed as she engaged in the conversation about potential photo exhibitions for interstellar art exchanges. Your work really bridges our worlds, Leo, Mira remarked, genuinely impressed. It captures the essence of Zephyria in a way words never could. Thanks, Mira. It means a lot coming from you, Leo responded, pleased. It's all about finding that universal language, right? Whether it's through energy, culture, or art. Jason watched the interplay of friendship and professionalism, feeling a profound connection to his roommates and their mission. Despite the challenges, including navigating an unfamiliar mating season, their collective efforts were knitting a fabric of understanding that transcended mere diplomacy. As the night drew to a close, each retreated to their respective rooms, filled with a renewed sense of purpose and the gentle reminder of the complexities of interspecies interaction. The next few weeks promised to be an enlightening journey into the heart of Zephyrian society, with all its intricate and intimate intricacies. Early the next morning, as Zephyria's twin sons began their ascent, Jason joined Tomas at the edge of the residential complex. They were scheduled to visit a local Zephyrian energy plant, a key element of Tomas's sustainable technology project. Morning, Jason. Ready for a deep dive into Zephyrian energy tech? Tomas asked, adjusting his backpack. Absolutely, Jason replied, finishing his coffee. I've read about their methods, but seeing it in action will be something else. The two set off, walking through the bustling streets towards the plant. As they moved, Jason noticed the vibrancy of the city had intensified with the start of mating season. Colors seemed brighter, and the air carried a mix of exotic scents. At the energy plant, they were greeted by Mira and a Zephyrian engineer named Kalik. Kalik's firm handshake and broad smile were welcoming. Glad you could make it, Kalik said. We're eager to show you our facilities. The plant was a marvel of technology harmoniously integrated with nature. Solar arrays mimicked the structure of leaves, optimizing sunlight absorption, while wind turbines were designed to resemble the elegant sways of local flora. As you can see, Kalik began, leading them through the facility. Our approach is to enhance, not disrupt, our natural environment. Each piece of technology works in sync with our ecosystem. Tomas was visibly impressed. The efficiency levels must be off the charts. Back on Earth, we're still struggling with the aesthetics of such integration. Kalik nodded. It's been a journey. What are you hoping to implement from our models? We're exploring similar integrations, Tomas explained, detailing his plans and seeking advice on specific challenges. Kalik listened intently, offering insights and suggesting modifications that might suit Earth's varied environments. Jason, meanwhile, took notes, thinking about how these exchanges could be framed in his reports to highlight successful collaboration. The morning passed with detailed discussions and plans for future partnerships. After the tour, the group sat down for a late lunch in the plant's cafeteria. The conversation shifted towards personal experiences and cultural differences. So, how are you finding our city during the mating season? Kalik asked, a hint of amusement in his voice. It's definitely more vibrant, Jason answered, chuckling. It's a fascinating aspect of Zephyrian culture. Yes, it permeates everything we do, Mira added, joining in the conversation. It's a time of heightened emotion and creativity. The discussion helped Jason understand the Zephyrian perspective better, adding depth to his cultural insights. As they left the plant, Jason and Tomas thanked Kalik for his hospitality and expertise. Let's head back, Tomas suggested. I've got some ideas buzzing, and I need to jot them down before they flutter away. The walk back was filled with creative energy. Tomas spoke of new approaches and innovations, while Jason considered the cultural narratives that framed these technological exchanges. Back at their residence, Leo greeted them with a new set of photos. Check these out. I captured some nocturnal insects last night. Their mating dances are something else. The three of them huddled around Leo's images, marveling at the intricate details and vivid colors captured in each frame. Mira, who had followed them in, leaned over to examine the photos. These are stunning, Leo, she praised. You have a real talent for capturing the essence of our wildlife. Thanks, Mira. It's all about patience and a little bit of luck, Leo grinned. As the day turned into evening, the four of them discussed their projects and the integration of their work. It was clear that each had developed a deep respect for the other's expertise and a genuine interest in learning from each other. As they parted ways for the night, Jason felt a sense of accomplishment. Not only were they making strides in their professional endeavors, but they were also navigating the complex personal dynamics brought on by the mating season with grace and humor. The delicate dance of blending their professional and personal lives on Zephyria was proving to be an enriching experience for all. The next morning, the atmosphere in the shared residence was charged with an air of anticipation. Today was the Festival of Renewal, a major Zephyrian celebration that marked the peak of the mating season. It was an event that Mira had talked about with vibrant enthusiasm, and now it was finally here. Jason joined Leo and Tomas at the breakfast table, where they were already discussing the day's plan. Mira says this festival is like nothing we've ever seen, Leo remarked, spreading some kind of purple jam on his toast. She mentioned there would be a ceremony at sunset that we shouldn't miss. Tomas looked up from his datapad, where he was hurriedly typing notes. I'm interested in the energy flows they harness during the festival. Kalik mentioned it's a unique alignment of natural and artificial energies. Jason sipped his coffee, his mind on the cultural implications. It's a perfect opportunity to observe Zephyrian social dynamics in a celebratory setting. Might help us understand how their personal and communal lives intersect. As they finished breakfast, Mira entered the room, dressed in traditional Zephyrian garb that shimmered with the colors of the forest. Ready to join the celebration? She asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Wouldn't miss it for the world, Jason replied, and the others nodded in agreement. They followed Mira through the bustling streets, now transformed with decorations of luminous flowers and fluttering banners. The air was filled with the sounds of traditional Zephyrian music, a complex layering of rhythms and melodies that seemed to resonate with the very heartbeat of the planet. At the festival ground, they were greeted by an array of sights. Dancers clad in vibrant, flowing costumes, artisans displaying exquisite crafts, and food vendors offering an array of exotic treats. Jason and his companions immersed themselves in the festivities, each moment bringing a new delight. As the sun began to lower in the sky, the crowd gathered around a large open area for the main ceremony. Mira found them in the throng, her face alight with pride. You're about to witness the harmony dance. It symbolizes the unity of our people with nature and each other, she explained as they secured a spot with a good view. The dance was mesmerizing. The dancers moved with a grace and precision that suggested a deeper connection, their movements echoing the natural world around them. As the dance built to its climax, the dancers converged into a formation that mimicked the planet's unique flora, their bodies swaying like leaves in the wind. After the dance, the mood shifted to a more intimate setting as people paired off, including many of the dancers, moving in a slower, more sensual rhythm. It was then that Mira took Jason's hand, her touch gentle but firm. "May I have this dance?" she asked, a playful challenge in her gaze. Jason, taken aback but intrigued, nodded. They stepped into the dance area, and Mira led him into the slow, rhythmic steps of the dance. As they moved together, Jason was acutely aware of her, the warmth of her hand in his, the subtle scent of her skin. The dance, Mira had explained, was a way of expressing oneself fully and honestly, and as they danced, Jason felt a connection that went beyond words, a sharing of spirits and understanding. The dance ended too soon, and as they paused, breathless and laughing, Mira whispered, her voice barely audible over the music, "Trapped with my alien roommate during mating season. I didn't expect this," echoing the phrase that had become a private joke between them. The evening concluded with a communal feast under the stars, where Jason, Leo, Tomas, and Mira recounted their experiences of the day. Each shared what had struck them most profoundly about the festival and the insights they had gained into Zephyrian culture. As they walked back to their residence, the streets quieter now, the festival winding down, Jason felt a profound sense of contentment. The boundaries between them, once marked by differences, had blurred into insignificance, replaced by a deep, mutual respect and understanding. The festival had not only been a celebration of Zephyrian culture, but had also marked a turning point in their personal relationships, bringing them closer in unexpected and meaningful ways. As the festival's influence lingered in the air, the dynamic within the residence subtly shifted. Myra's invitation to dance had opened a new level of intimacy between her and Jason, one neither could easily step back from. One evening, a few days post-festival, as the twilight cast long shadows across the living room, Jason found Mira looking out the window, her gaze lost among the stars. "Beautiful night, isn't it?" Jason ventured, joining her at the window. Mira turned to him, her expression contemplative. "Yes, it's one of the things I love most about Zephyria. The stars seem so close, you feel you could reach out and touch them." Jason nodded, feeling the distance close between them. "It's the same with certain moments, isn't it? Like the festival dance. It felt like touching something profound, beyond everyday reach." Mira smiled, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "I'm glad you felt that. I was worried it might have been too much, stepping into that dance with you. Actually, I've been thinking about it a lot," Jason confessed. "About us, about what it means in the grand scheme of things." Their conversation was interrupted by Leo and Tomas entering the room, each carrying a stack of local fruits they had become fond of. "Hey, you two, we're planning a little stargazing on the roof. Care to join?" Leo announced cheerfully. Mira and Jason exchanged a quick glance, an unspoken agreement passing between them. "We'd love to," Jason replied, the weight of their earlier conversation momentarily set aside. On the roof, Tomas set up a small projector to display star maps of Zephyrian and Earth skies, intending to find and compare similar constellations. The group settled around with blankets and snacks, the atmosphere light and companionable. "So, Tomas, any luck finding our Big Dipper equivalent here?" Leo asked, munching on a Zephyrian fruit that resembled an overly enthusiastic grape. Tomas chuckled, adjusting the projector. "Not exactly, but there's a formation here they call the Weaver. It's supposed to represent one of their ancient gods of fate. See?" He pointed at a cluster of stars that formed a delicate, weaving pattern across the sky. "That's fascinating," Mira noted. "Many of our legends are written in the stars. Each formation has a story tied to the virtues or trials of gods and heroes." As the night deepened, their conversations meandered through topics of mythology, philosophy, and personal aspirations. Eventually, as the others drifted off to sleep, wrapped in blankets, Jason and Mira found themselves alone, awake under the vast Zephyrian sky. Jason turned to Mira, their earlier conversation still echoing in his thoughts. "Mira, about what we were saying earlier." Mira placed a finger on his lips, her smile gentle. "Jason, sometimes words aren't needed. Sometimes it's enough to just feel." Moved by her words, Jason reached out, tentatively taking her hand. Their fingers intertwined, a simple yet profound gesture of connection. They didn't need more words. The stars above them bore witness to their growing bond. As they sat together, the barriers of their different worlds seemed insignificant compared to the shared human and Zephyrian experience of finding connection, of feeling something genuine and deep under the canopy of the universe. Eventually, they leaned back, their shoulders touching, watching the night sky in comfortable silence, each lost in thoughts of what the future might hold, yet content in the presence of each other. The night waned, and the first hints of dawn colored the horizon. Reluctantly, they stood, their hands lingering together before they parted. "Good night, Jason," Mira whispered, her voice carrying a promise. "Good night, Mira," Jason replied, feeling like something significant had begun under the watchful eyes of the Zephyrian stars. As he headed back to his room, Jason felt a sense of peace and excitement for what was yet to come. The days following their night under the stars were filled with a new, unspoken understanding between Jason and Mira. Both were more attentive, more aware of each other's presence, yet neither addressed the growing intimacy directly. Instead, they focused on their projects, perhaps as a way to manage the complexities of their feelings. One morning, Jason joined Tomas and Leo in the common area where they were engaged in setting up a virtual interface to showcase their collaborative work to the Zephyrian Council. "Morning, Jason," Tomas greeted him, his eyes not leaving the screen. "We're trying to integrate the visual data from Leo's environmental captures with my energy mappings. It's trickier than expected." Jason, pulling up a chair, looked over Tomas's shoulder. "What's the main issue?" "The formats are completely different, and aligning them visually is becoming a bit of a headache," Tomas explained, pinching the bridge of his nose. Leo, looking up from his own screen, added, "Yeah, and we need to get this done before the council meeting next week. They're eager to see how our projects complement each other." Jason nodded, his mind whirring with ideas. "Have you tried using the Zephyrian conversion algorithm? Mira mentioned it last week. It might help bridge the format gap." "That's a good call," Tomas replied, his expression brightening. "Mira really comes through with the tech insights, huh?" "She does," Jason said, a smile tugging at his lips as he thought of her. As if on cue, Mira walked into the room, a stack of data pads in her arms. "Good morning, everyone. How's the integration going?" "We were just about to try the conversion algorithm you mentioned," Jason said, gesturing towards the screens. Mira set down the pads and moved beside Tomas, quickly assessing the situation. "Here, let me show you." Her fingers flew over the keyboard, commands flowing seamlessly. Within minutes, the disparate data began to align aesthetically on the screen. "Amazing, Mira. Thank you," Leo exclaimed, genuinely impressed. Mira nodded, her gaze meeting Jason's for a moment before she turned to address the group. "I'm glad it worked. Remember, the council is very visual. They'll appreciate this clarity." With the technical hurdle cleared, the trio spent the next few hours refining their presentation. Mira stayed to help, her expertise invaluable and her presence comforting. As lunchtime approached, Jason suggested a break. "Let's grab some food. We've all earned it after this morning's work." They decided to visit a nearby eatery known for its panoramic views of the Zephyrian landscape. As they walked, the conversation flowed easily, ranging from project details to more personal topics, like favorite Earth and Zephyrian traditions. At the restaurant, while waiting for their order, Tomas brought up a topic they had skirted around for days. "So, Jason, you and Mira seem to be getting quite close." "It's nice to see." Jason, caught slightly off guard, chose his words carefully. "Yeah, Myra's been a great friend and guide here. I've learned a lot from her, about Zephyria and other things." Mira, overhearing the comment as she returned from speaking with the chef about their meal, smiled. "And I've learned a lot from all of you, too. This exchange isn't just about our projects, it's about our perspectives, isn't it?" "Absolutely," Leo chimed in. "It's about seeing the universe through each other's eyes. Makes the stars look a little different, doesn't it?" They all nodded, a shared sentiment of camaraderie and exploration hanging in the air. Lunch was a lively affair, full of laughter and shared stories. As they returned to the residence, Jason and Mira lagged behind the others, walking slowly. "Mira, about the other night on the roof," Jason began hesitantly. Mira stopped, turning to face him fully. "Yes?" "It meant a lot to me," he continued, searching her face for a reaction. "More than I expected." Mira reached out, her hand lightly touching his arm. "Me too, Jason. And whatever this is or could be, I'm glad it's with you. Their conversation was cut short as Leo called out for them to hurry up. They exchanged a look, a silent agreement that this was just the beginning. As they caught up with the others, Jason felt a profound sense of possibility. Here, on Zephyria, among the stars, new worlds weren't just planetary. They were personal, intimate universes waiting to be explored. The council meeting was drawing near, and the residence was buzzing with the energy of final preparations. Jason, Mira, Tomas, and Leo gathered in the main living area, each reviewing their part of the presentation. The integration of their projects had blossomed into a cohesive narrative about unity and innovation, a story they were eager to share. Okay, so we've got the visual data synced up, the narratives aligned, and our speeches rehearsed. Anything we're missing? Tomas asked, scanning his digital clipboard. Leo, double-checking their equipment, replied, I've got the projectors and backup drives ready, and I've prepared extra visuals, just in case they ask for more examples of the environmental impact. Mira nodded, looking over at Jason. Your part about cultural integration is crucial. It's the thread that ties all our projects together. Are you comfortable with the latest revisions? Jason glanced at his notes, feeling the weight of responsibility. I think so. It's important they see this isn't just about technology or art. It's about building a bridge between our worlds. Exactly, Mira affirmed, her eyes meeting Jason's with a spark of shared purpose. It's about showing them how much we can achieve together. As they packed up their materials, Tomas clapped his hands together. All right, team, let's head out. We've got a council to impress. The council hall was imposing, a vast dome of translucent material that shimmered in the sunlight, reflecting the intricate architecture of Zephyria. As they set up in the antechamber, Jason felt a surge of nerves. Mira, sensing his tension, touched his arm reassuringly. You've got this, Jason. We all do, she whispered. The session began with the council members entering in a formal procession, their robes flowing behind them. The humans were introduced with great ceremony, and as the presentation commenced, the room was wrapped with attention. Tomas led with the technical overview, explaining their innovative energy solutions, supplemented by Leo's stunning visuals of the environment. The data was compelling, the images striking, but it was Jason's speech that tied everything together. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, what we present today is more than the sum of its parts. It's a testament to what Zephyrians and humans can accomplish when we share our knowledge and visions. Through this exchange, we've not only developed solutions that benefit both our peoples, but we've also forged a deeper understanding and respect for each other. The council listened intently, their expressions thoughtful, as Jason continued to articulate the nuances of cultural exchange and its impact on their collaborative efforts. As the presentation concluded, the council members conferred briefly among themselves. Finally, the head of the council stood, addressing the assembly. Your efforts have illuminated many paths of innovation, unity, and mutual respect. We are impressed by your dedication and are eager to explore further collaborations. The team exchanged relieved smiles, their hard work recognized and appreciated. After the meeting, as they walked back to their residence, the air was light with a sense of accomplishment. We did it, Leo said, a wide grin on his face. We actually did it. We sure did, Tomas added, clapping Jason on the back. Couldn't have pulled it off without everyone's input. Mira walked beside Jason, her expression serene yet elated. What's next for you, Jason? After this project, Jason looked at her, his future suddenly clear. I think there's a lot more to explore here, Mira. With this project. I'm not ready to leave just yet. Myra's smile was all the answer he needed. I was hoping you'd say that. As they reached their residence, the stars beginning to peek out from the twilight sky, it felt like a new chapter was just beginning. Here, on this alien planet, Jason had found more than a successful project. He had found a new home, a new purpose, and perhaps a new chance at love. As the door closed behind them, the horizon of their shared future seemed bright with promise, untold stories waiting to unfold under the watchful Zephyrian stars.